If you're a first-time buyer in Steamboat Springs, or for that matter, a first-time buyer of real estate in Colorado, this blog's for you. Hi, I'm Charlie Dresden, SteamboatsMyHome.com video blog, and this is Domino. This blog is going to talk briefly about the Colorado real estate contract and how, if you're buying real estate in Colorado, this contract is really buyer-friendly. Meaning, once you get a property under contract, the buyer has many ways to terminate this contract and to protect the earnest money and to protect this purchase, as opposed to the seller who doesn't really have many real ways to terminate this contract. And what that means is, once you get a property under contract, there's earnest money that should be put down on the contract. It's basically a good faith deposit. So that varies per market, and it's usually about 1 to 3% of the purchase price. And that earnest money is usually due about 1 to 5 days after both parties, the buyer and the seller, agree on a purchase price and terms. So that earnest money is basically a good faith deposit put on by the buyer to the seller, and it's held usually by the real estate company. So after that, there's many contingencies and many dates and deadlines that you need to follow. But the big ones are the inspection contingency, which is typically about 10 to 20 days out from the mutual date of contract. So that inspection contingency allows the buyer to have a third-party inspector inspect the property and make sure that the condition is acceptable. Within those 10 to 20 days, upon inspection, the buyer can terminate the contract for pretty much any reason prior to that inspection deadline. The next contingency is title contingency. Now, a title is kind of a history of the home and the land. Now, the seller provides this to the buyer, and so the buyer has roughly 15 to 20 days to look at the title contingency or the title and make sure that the title's clean. And if it's not, again, the buyer can terminate it based on certain aspects of the title. The next one, and the biggest one, is the loan contingency. The loan contingency basically says that the buyer can get a loan within approximately 25 to 40 days, maybe 45 days, depending on the complications of this loan. But basically, you have almost 30 days. A buyer has almost 30 days to get this loan. And if for some reason the buyer doesn't like the terms in the loan, doesn't like the interest rate, anything about the loan, the buyer can terminate it. So basically, as I'm saying, in Colorado real estate contracts are super buyer friendly, meaning a buyer can enter in on this agreement, have the earnest money, but then there's many ways that the buyer can terminate this contract and get their earnest money back. It kind of ties the hands of the sellers. Yeah, there are a couple ways the sellers can terminate it, but it's very buyer friendly. So if you're a first-time home buyer in Colorado, or basically buying any real estate in Colorado, you should know that the Colorado contracts are on your side, buyer. So have fun, and thanks for tuning in to SteamboatsMyHome.com video blog, and we'll see you next week. Domino's looking for birds outside, I guess.